Hello, Poland. I'm Samanthą M. Bailey, the author of Woman on the Edge. And I'm thrilled to be here today to answer some questions that Zanak and Chili Books have sent me about myself and about Woman on the Edge. But first, I want to say thank you so much to the Polish book community. I am so grateful for all the support and the love and the incredible photos and reviews that I've seen on Instagram. It means the world to me. So really, really thank you. So without further ado, here are some questions. Woman on the Edge is a psychological thriller which took the bestseller lists by storm. Did you expect that? Do you think you're ready for that success? No, I did not expect that at all. I have been writing for 17 years, and I wrote 5 books over a 17-year period, and my dream was always for one of my books to be in the hands of readers and on bookstore shelves. I never dreamed of it all over the world. I never dreamed of it translated in Polish, and it's just incredible. I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful. When it hit #1 in Canada, I cried. My family cried. My friends cried because it was just such a long time coming to see success. And then to see that kind of success, it's surreal. And I just appreciate it all so much. Woman on the Edge is your first published novel, but I heard this wasn't your first literary attempt. So no, like I said, it's my 5th written novel and the first traditionally published. I started writing when I was 10 years old and submitted my first story to a publisher then, and it was rejected, and it was my first lesson in perseverance. I then wrote my first full-length novel at 29. It was a romantic comedy. I wrote another one that was also a romantic comedy. Those didn't get published. And then I wrote 2 more books, darker women's fiction. And then I turned to thrillers. And then finally at the age of, I was 46 when it first published here in Canada and in the US. And I'm 47 as it came out in ebook in Poland and in print on June 17th. Why did I decide to write a psychological thriller? And are you a fan of this genre? I am a huge fan of this genre. I read every thriller that I can get my hands on. I'm fascinated by psychology and so intrigued by people. I have a master's of education in applied linguistics with a focus on psycholinguistics because I'm really interested in how people speak, what they say and what they don't say. And as a mother, I have a lot of fears. I worry about what might happen to my children, and I put those fears on the page. I think it helps me cope with them. In your book, you describe not only vigorous action, chases, and plots, but also show real people with their psychology. What do you think is more important in a thriller, action, or psychology? It's an excellent question. Both, I think, with a balance. I think you need forward momentum and cliffhangers and all the beats in the right place. And the characters, though, need to have goals, motivation, and stakes. And the psychology behind those goals and motivations, while they face dangerous stakes, to me, I think is equally important. What has inspired you to write this kind of story? You raise issues that rarely appear in thrillers, like the combination of postpartum depression and brutal manipulation. Where did this idea come from? The public transit system here in Toronto. It was a winter day 6 years ago, and I was waiting on a Toronto subway platform for the train when I saw a woman holding her newborn, and she was standing very close to the edge. And in Toronto, the platforms are very narrow, and there's no barrier. and it can feel unsafe. And I was worried for her. And I started thinking of my own children, and when they were babies, especially my son. And I think your first child, generally you're more nervous with your first child. And then suddenly I thought, what if? And the idea came to me, and I took an empty gum pack out of my purse and I scribbled the idea down. And by the time the train came, the premise for Woman on the Edge was born. And the woman got on the train too, and she was very happy and content with her baby. And I think, again, I was projecting all my fears or my dark thoughts onto her. And postpartum depression, I chose it because I didn't feel it was talked about enough in literature. Since I wrote that book, there have been more books. One is Little Voices by Vanessa Lilly, which is an excellent book, also about postpartum depression. I did not experience depression myself, and so I relied on my very open, very generous friends, and I witnessed firsthand what they went through, their fears, and being scared to ask for help because they were scared what was going to happen to their babies. They were falling apart at a time when they're supposed to be the happiest and most joyous. And so it was really awful for them. And they all got through it, and they're all such excellent mothers. I did, though, experience for sure levels of anxiety, because suddenly I have this little baby that I need to keep alive. And no matter how many books I read, I didn't know what I was doing. And luckily my son now is going to be 13 years old this week. So I got through it. Is writing just a job for you, or do you also enjoy it? Is it your way of life? It is my life. Besides my kids, writing is my life. It is a compulsion. Like I said, I've been doing it since I was 10 years old. As a kid, I found my voice in writing stories and in reading them. Words are everything to me. I don't know if I could breathe if I didn't write. So to be able to have a career as an author is something I feel very, very lucky to do. To have a job I'm passionate about is a privilege. One of the characters in the book decided to take a shocking step to keep the child safe. Do you think she did the right thing, and that there was no other way? So back to postpartum depression, when you're struggling with mental health, first asking for help is incredibly hard. You don't want to be judged. And when you're a mother, you're very afraid of the judgment that is going to come if you say, I'm feeling sad, scared, alone, I can't stop crying, I don't know what I'm doing. Nicole, my character, is a very accomplished, ambitious, type A high achiever. And so for her especially to fall so fast was such a shocking change that I'm not even sure she recognized how far she had fallen until it was too late and she had hit the point of no return. While she definitely had the money and she could have the medical support, she was afraid to tell doctors, her brother, what she was really experiencing, because she wasn't sure it was real. And so admitting that, again, by the time she had made her decisions, she had reached a point where she would do anything to protect her child, as any mother would, and she was willing to sacrifice her own life to do that. Are you planning something new soon? Perhaps another best-selling thriller? I would be thrilled if it becomes a bestseller. So I am currently working on another thriller. It's the first time I've set a thriller in Canada, a book in Canada. And at the moment, there's no set North American publication date because of everything going on with COVID-19. Things are uncertain, so I just keep going in the meantime, and eventually it will, be released. It's about middle-aged motherhood. It is about obsession secrets, neighbors, and murder. And I'm working on it right now in between my children and everything else. Is there anything you would like to say to your Polish fans? Dziękuję from the bottom of my heart. A huge, heartfelt thank you for embracing my book. The pictures, like I said, I've seen from the bookstagrammers and from readers and who are reviewing it and posting these stunning photos. Your country is beautiful. One day I hope that I could come to meet my readers as things in the world get better. Really, I appreciate the support so very much. It feels very special to me to have my book translated in Polish, to have it blurbed by Magda Stachula. I just appreciate the generosity of all the Polish readers and authors. So thank you very much. And it will be released in print on June 17th. I hope everyone is doing as well as possible and everyone is safe and happy. And again, thank you very, very much.